Welcome to Jacksonville Connect. I'm here with Susan Shipman from Second Chance. Susan, would you please tell us what Second Chance is?
Yes, thank you. Second Chance is the Domestic and Sexual Violence Services organization for a six-county area here in Northeast Alabama. We serve Calhoun, Cherokee, Cleburne, Etowah, Randolph, and Talladega counties. We provide emergency shelter for victims that are fleeing abusive situations or sexual assault victims that are no longer safe in their homes. We provide some additional housing services, transitional housing, and then some assistance with setting up permanent housing. We do forensic exam advocacies in the local hospitals. We've been doing that virtually here lately with the COVID-19 virus. Hospitals aren't letting visitors in, and that's what they consider us. We're able to help with some financial subsidies for some of our participants in permanent housing, and we're all about getting victims safe from where they are to where they need to be.
Okay, so that's a pretty broad variety of different services that you guys offer. What is your role with Second Chance?
I'm the executive director, and my main functions with the organization are securing funding for us to be able to do what we need to do for domestic and sexual assault victims, and public relations with the community. I'm the board liaison. I'm really where everything rolls to, and take responsibility for everything that happens within our organization. I have been doing this for 14 years now, and I told the person that conned me into applying for the position, I told her, I said, well, okay, we'll give it about 12 years and then we'll reassess. And so that's what I did, and I think I'm good for a few more years. And I originally started as the bookkeeper, actually. It was supposed to be this flexible part-time job, and then I found myself involved in a movement, because this is not just about the money. Nobody in a nonprofit really gets paid a huge amount of money, and we all need money to live, but most of the people that work with us are survivors of domestic or sexual violence, or both. And so, we've got a heart for the work that we're doing. So if we don't make quite as much money as everybody else does, it's okay, because there's a great reward.
So you started out as a bookkeeper, found a passion for the people and for the mission of this organization, and moved up from there. As executive director, how do you feel like this organization and the service that you provide has personally impacted you?
Well, first it had me look back at past relationships and say, my picker has not been really great along the way. I have been in some less than good relationships, and I probably would never really thought about that if I hadn't been doing this. And that causes some reflection, but it also assists me in being empathetic with the people that come into our programs, and understanding that, this is, I don't want anybody to know about this, and I'm ashamed and I'm embarrassed, and it's like, it's not your fault. You didn't cause this, and
Right.
And so it's been healing for me, for one thing, and it really has helped me to respond more appropriately with victims. I don't do a whole lot of direct service, but everybody in this organization is trained to do that, because we never know when we're going to be thrust into that, and that is going to be our calling for the day. And so doing the work has also allowed me to not be quite as examining my belly button lint, looking out in the world and seeing that everybody in this world has got something going on in their life that's difficult, and they need someone to assist them with that. And and our thing just happens to be domestic and sexual assault, and working in this field, in this movement, has given me additional purpose in life, a good reason to get up out of the bed and start moving in the morning, because I have these things that I need to do to help my people do their thing. and help the next person, because we don't know when the next person that we're able to assist is that person that didn't get killed that day.
Right. These are very real problems in
Yes.
society. That's why an organization like this is established. How do you see the benefit or the impact on the lives of those that this organization serves?
You know, oftentimes we don't get to see the results of our work. We like to believe that there are fewer people dying as a result of domestic violence in their lives, because oftentimes that's the end result of domestic violence. When we do bump into somebody out in the community that has been in our services, it's always a delight to see them doing well and to see a glow. You know, when people come into our programs, sometimes they have been abused to such a degree that they can't make eye contact. They hang their head low. They don't think anything that they do is right. And so knowing that some of the people that we serve do come out the other side and find a life for themselves and for their children that doesn't involve abuse, it's a great thing. Sometimes when we are out in the community doing awareness events or a health fair or something like that, someone will come up to our table and say, listen, you guys helped me 12 years ago and my life is phenomenal. And the reward of that is huge.
That's amazing to see that progress in someone's life. For those out there that are still struggling with situations of domestic violence or have had situations of sexual abuse, sexual assault, things like that, what message would you give to them as far as how they can contact Second Chance and how caring Second Chance is for their clients?
You know, I would just say, to begin with, reach out and make our phone ring, toll free 800-650-6522. Not that that really matters these days. Our local number is 256-236-7233. Make the phone ring and talk to the advocate that answers the telephone. We don't use any answering services. We answer our phones 24/7, and whoever answers the phone will listen to what is going on in your life and offer a safety plan, first of all, on the telephone. We know that domestic violence generally escalates. It can start with the name calling and end up with the bang bang, you're dead. I had a family member that was murdered on August 29th of 2017.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And that's, how can that happen? She had done all the things that we would suggest one do. She had gone to a shelter in a different county to be safer. She had educated herself about the dynamics of domestic violence and the power and control, and when a batterer says, "I will kill you," they mean that. They really mean that. It's might not happen tomorrow, but at some point in time, when they start losing control of the situation, it can become a reality. And so, make our phone ring and let's talk. And emergency shelter's not the only answer. Some people are freaked out about the idea of coming into a communal shelter and being among people that they don't know. And actually, it's a good thing to be among other survivors of domestic violence, to know that you're not the only one that never got it right. Victims work really hard to figure out whatever it is causing the domestic violence. Is it the way I make the bed? Is it the way I park the car? Is it the way I cook the dinner? It's none of those things, because it's about power and control. And it doesn't matter how well I cook that sunny side up egg. I've cooked the wrong one out of the box. There's no way to get it right. And so we work so hard at trying to figure out how to fix us when we're not really the ones that are broken. And so make the call, let's talk, and let's see if there's something that we can do, to help you if you're staying in the situation, because we know that happens a lot. Victims are 5 to 7 times they're going to try and flee a domestic violence situation before they stay gone, and we know that. And so we know that statistically, people that come into our programs are going to end up back with the batterer. We know that. But we want them to be safer. If they're staying, let's talk about some ways to stay safe. And so just making the call and having a chat with some of our people. We've got a counselor that you don't have to be in any of our other programs to meet with our counselor. You could come in and meet with one of our other advocates and see if we can help you with a different form of housing, so that's step one, to be able to have another place to be besides there with the batterer. Sexual assault victims, that's not your fault either. You don't walk out the door in the morning planning to get raped later in the afternoon, and it doesn't matter what I'm wearing, it doesn't matter what I've done. Rape is another form of power and control, and it's not about sex, it's about taking what I want when I want it, and it's an ownership situation. And if you've been sexually assaulted and it's been some time, make the phone ring. Let's talk about it, and let's see if we can work through some of those same things with you. Our counselor is phenomenal, and so anybody that needs help with working through domestic and sexual violence issues should make our phone ring and get an appointment and see if we can't talk it through.
If we could snap our fingers and have these problems go away, that'd be great, but I know we can't. But what are some things that people in the community or in society can start doing to lessen the growth of these problems?
I think that society has started doing that. With sexual violence and rape, the Me Too movement has been huge because victims are realizing, recognizing, and sharing their experience with other victims, not just with society, but we're standing up and we're saying, hey, that happened to me too. And then it gives society as a whole, people that aren't working in this field, the understanding that this happens a lot. It happens a lot more than they know and than they want to think about. So if we as individuals stand up and call this out and name it for what it is, then we are shedding light on it. And batterers don't work well in the light, and rapists don't work well in the light. If I call you out on that, if I let you know that joke you just told is tacky and not funny and patriarchal, and I'm not going to let you get away with that. It's the little changes along the way like that make the big changes, that cause us to recognize 1 in 3 women are going to experience intimate partner violence in their lifetime. 1 in 3. So it's huge, and we have to recognize that this is going on, and it's going on behind closed doors. And when we see someone that, if my coworker comes in with a black eye, I am going to ask how that happened. And do you need some help? Because naming it brings it out, and that's the only way we can address it, and that's the only way we can change anything, is by calling it by its name and recognizing it and saying, yeah, no more.
Okay, calling it out, bringing awareness to it so that it can be, so we can start to solve these problems.
Yes.
That may be easier said than done for some that are going through it. What are some other maybe small things that someone who's in a tough situation can start doing for themselves, maybe self-care or building up their esteem if they're in a situation like that?
Yeah, self-care is vital. It is for all of us. It's particularly for victims, because we think it's our fault. We blame everything on us. We don't make the batterer take any responsibility for that. And so knowing that it's not your fault, it is not your fault. You didn't do anything to cause that. You didn't do anything to cause the backhand across the face. You didn't do anything that caused that sexual assault. It is not your fault, and that's hard. That's hard to believe. And so, reaching out to someone, to anyone, to let them know what's going on with you, then perhaps your anyone can help you or guide you to the right solution. The right solution.
So that the feelings of loneliness or being alone are lessened the more you can reach out to those who you know will care for you,
yes,
and care about you.
Yes, isolation is the best tool that a perpetrator of domestic violence has got in their arsenal, because if I don't see you out and about, then I don't know what's going on with you. If you're missing that person that used to do whatever with you, make their phone ring. Maybe there's something going on with them, particularly in this time with, when we went into lockdown for COVID-19, domestic violence victims were stuck at home with batterers. The physical violence increased. So because of the isolation. So reach out to someone that you haven't seen for a bit, that you haven't heard from for a bit, and see if they're okay. And oftentimes we don't want to do that because we're like, well, I don't want to ruin the friendship. Well, if your friend gets dead, your friendship's over anyway. And so suck it up a little bit and reach out to the people that you're missing in your life and see if there's something you can do for them.
Okay, very well said. That's a lot of really good information for anyone who's struggling with these things. I know that there's also people who are not necessarily struggling personally with a situation like this, but they still have a passion for those who are. How can those people get involved either through participating as a volunteer or donations? Tell me some ways that people can get involved.
Sure. The volunteering thing, mostly what we were using volunteers for would be our fundraising efforts, and now that we're not really doing those right now, we have a sexual assault forensic examiner team where we use volunteers from the community. We train volunteers from the community to do that hospital advocacy so that our staff is not on 24/7 because the staff's not huge enough to be able to do that. That's a big thing, and as I said, there's training involved with that, and so that's like a really all-in kind of volunteer opportunity. If you want to do something that's not that extreme, we do little projects around our offices and sometimes around our shelters. We let very few people into our shelters because we don't need for everybody on the planet to know where they are. The confidential location is huge for safety.
Right.
But there's always a bedroom that needs a fluffing up over there, and so that's a fun project to come in and paint and new blinds and new stuff for the beds. That's a wonderful thing. As far as donations are concerned, we had a thrift store, but it has been closed because of the COVID-19 thing, and so we're accepting in-kind donations, stuff donations at our outreach offices on Wilmer Avenue at 613 Wilmer Avenue. We're not taking used clothing and all that kind of thing, but we are accepting toiletries and pillows and linens and that kind of thing, things that we can actually use today in our shelter programs and in our outreach programs. Paper products. If anybody has a line on any spick and span, we'd really like to have some more of that, and wipes and Lysol spray and those kind of things. Stuff that you use at your house, we use 10 times that much of it at our house, and so those kind of things are very helpful. And then if you want to give money, no money is too small and no money is too large. If you still write checks, you can send those to P.O. Box 2714. If you prefer to use a credit card, we post online at our Facebook page constantly, and there's always a donate button there. So there are ways, and if none of that really works for you, just give us a call. We'll figure out a way to get you involved.
Yeah, this organization has a lot of opportunities not only to serve, but to create a venue for those in the community that would like to serve.
Yes.
This is wonderful. Susan, do you have any last things that you would like to say to those out there watching right now?
Make the phone call and let's talk and let's see if there's anything that we can do for you. Chances are we can help, and but we can't help if we don't know you need help. So reach out, make the call.
All right, there it is, guys. That's a message. Make the call. Thank you, Susan, so much for being here with Jacksonville Connect, and we will see you guys next time.